don't actually believe a single word I'm saying, do you? Oh, sure, of course I believe you. Great. Just repeat the words I'm about to say, all right? Moon, prism, power, makeup. Right! Moon, prism, power, makeup!
Hello stranger, I think you guys are rolling your eyes now because I'm back with another Rom&nd video. I swear I don't intend to make this a Rom&nd channel, but they've been dropping a lot of good stuff lately and those good stuff are on my face. So Rom&nd collaborated with Sanrio, which features Melody and Kuromi. If you're more into the pinks, very light or bright colors, then Melody is for you, and usually that's for me too. But after seeing Kuromi, I fell in love with the aesthetic and the purple tones in the whole collection. But don't worry, I have another video coming up to feature Melody as well. So there's a lot of new stuff here in this collection, so let's dive right into it as I make this whole makeup look. If you want to get the Whatever Girls edition, it comes in this cute purple box that looks like a Game Boy and contains 2 Glasting wire glosses, which I'll swatch later on, and this tone-up sun cushion. Tone-up cushions give an instant brightening effect and correct ashy skin tones, which is why they come a little white in color, and for this Rom&nd tone-up cushion, also a little purple. Some tone-ups can be used as a primer as well, but I don't really use them because they can be a little too white for me. I'm only putting a little, enough to brighten but not too much to make me look super white. I'm putting this on before I put the foundation cushion. This is the side with the tone-up cushion on. You can see the difference, how my face is brighter, more even, yellow tones are cancelled. Now I'll be putting on Rom&nd's new Zero Cushion. I haven't actually reviewed this, but I'll make a separate video for this for an in-depth review, wear test and all that. So this cushion gives me a satin-like finish, not overly dewy, which is good for oily skin. This is also good in blurring out the pores, but they can be a little too cakey if you keep on layering them. Now that we got the base down, let's move on with the eye look. Let's get to know the Cheeky palette first. Isn't this beautiful? The palette is unlike most Korean palettes that shoulder very bright pinks and coral shades. This palette leans more into mauves, reddish brown tones, and purple. Before I go to a step-by-step tutorial on how I did this eye look, let's look at each shade first. Starting off with Blurry Pink. This is a very light lilac pink color, really pretty. There is a little bit of dustiness when you swatch from the palette, but nothing too drastic. Next we have Pink Downy. This is a pinker blurry pink. This has a stronger or more saturated payoff. You definitely know that this is one of the point colors. This is Spoon of Cheeky. I really like the embossed skull in the palette. This is a brownish mauve color, one of the darker colors in the collection. Next is Taro. This is a purple shade, definitely one of the strongest payoff among the colors in this palette. Really pretty for a heavier or grungier eye look. This is Quiche the Black. I hope I pronounced that right. What can I say? It's a charcoal black color. It's a little streakier or less smoother in texture than the other colors, but still pretty good payoff. This is Dusty End, which is a very cool tone, dark brown. This would be a really good eyeliner along with Quiche the Black. Next is Cheat the Shade. Interesting name. This is a lighter brown with a tiny hint of red in it. I think this is a good marrier of the lilacs and the brown tones when you create a look. This is Fade Mood. It's a very subtle lilac. In the pan, it doesn't look that lilac. It looks more like a faded brown, but on the skin, the lilac tones definitely rises. We have Cheeky Cheeky Pop. I love this. This has chunky glitters with icy blue and pinks. I can see a little bit of gold too. Since this is pretty chunky, be careful when putting this close to your eyes. Lastly, we have Full of Charming, which is a champagne-like color. It doesn't have any chunky glitters, it's really more of just a shimmer. Great for the inner eye corners. Now that we know all the shades in the palette, let's start making the eye look. I'm starting off with the blurry pink, packing it on the inner 1/3 of the eyelids. I want this to be like a transition from lighter to a bolder shade as it goes to the middle and outer of the eyes. Then I'm gonna continue off with Pink Downy, pack it on until half of the eyelids. I want it to be a little more stronger, so I'm definitely going to layer this a lot. I'm also going to apply the same shade on the lower outer part of my eyes. This is to balance the look. I don't want it to be too thick though, up to a point that it looks like an eye bag, so I'm gonna clean the excess off with a Q-tip. Now I'm using the shade Full of Charming at the inner corners of the eyes to brighten, and at the bottom of my eyes since I want to do the aegyo look, so that's going to be part of the base for our quote-unquote eye bags. So here's the difference without Full of Charming versus with it at the bottom of the eyes. Now to carve out the bags, I'm using Cheetah Shade. I'm gonna line the bottom very thinly and make the silhouette of the bags. I didn't use Dusty End because I felt like it was too dark. I don't want the look to end up looking like actual eye bags. I don't want it to be too dramatic, so I'm cleaning off the excess. I'm also using Taro and kind of line the bottom of my eyes going to the outer corner just for an added purple moment. We're gonna conceal my actual eye bags later on, but now I'm gonna use Cheeky Pop at the center of my eyelids. I really want this to be the focal point. Then I'm also gonna apply that at the center of the bottom of my eyes. I can already see the look coming together. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Now I'm gonna give myself a mini wing using Kish the Black. If you have hooded eyelids, I feel like this type of eye wing is the best technique for us. It doesn't highlight the hoodedness of our eyes. Now I'm curling my lashes using my Shu Uemura curler before I start with the eye bag concealing and pop on a mascara. So I'm using the NYX concealer palette here. I'm gonna conceal the bluish purple tones with a yellow color corrector. I'm only going to focus where the bluish areas are, then I'm gonna fade that out a little bit before I put a dab of my BLK concealer. I'm not gonna touch the area where I did the aegyo. Blurring my actual eye bags would complete and highlight the aegyo that I did earlier. And this is the finished eye look. I really love the purple or lilac moment we're having here. The cheeky pop is such a beaut. It's a lot more reflective in person. Next, for the lips, I actually layered both shades from the Kuromi line. For the new Dewyful Lasting Tint shade, we have here Cheeky Taro, and then Custard Mauve, which is an old shade, but Rom&nd rebranded it to fit the Sanrio collection. I have the old packaging, but Rom&nd was kind enough to send me the rebranded one. Thank you! The cap they have for Kuromi is super duper cute. This is sold out everywhere I look. It's such a cute addition. If you want a full breakdown of the Dewyful Lasting Tints, the packaging, application, formulation, and all that, I have that one on a separate video. Swatching first, Cheeky Taro. This is a mauve shade that leans very much on lilac shade. Very Kuromi coded. I don't think this will fit a lot of skin tones though, or please a lot of people's palettes, but if you're adventurous, you can try this out. This isn't a very common mauve shade, but to be fair, I always say this for any Rom&nd tint that's on the glossy side. Their formulation are usually very flexible to cater to a lot of skin tones because the sheerness blends with your own lip color. You can apply this very sheerly to act as a lip stain or build it up for a more opaque look. Custard Mauve is actually one of my favorite shades in the line. I've said this in my previous review for the Meteor line. This is a mauve shade that leans more into the pink side. It's not as lilac as Cheeky Taro, and definitely a lot more wearable and less intimidating to try out. Based on the Rom&nd promotional pictures, they usually showcase Custard Mauve and Cheeky Taro together, like a two-tone lip look, so that's what we're gonna try out. I applied Cheeky Taro first as a base. Now adding Custard Mauve, packing it on the middle. And this is how it looks together. I'm gonna top this off with a gloss. I'll be using the Glasting Water Gloss in Meteor Track. This gloss is minty with small glitters that shift from blue to purple. Very pretty and definitely adds a ton of shine and a little bit of plump. And this is the finished look. I really like the outcome of this. I didn't put any more blush because I felt like the eye look is very strong enough along with the lips. I didn't want the whole look to be overpowering where there would be no focal point. Additional section, we have here the Mood Pebble Nails first shade. On the ball, it looks like a really opaque black color with some shimmer, but actually it's quite translucent once you apply it. It would be difficult to make it really opaque, so I see this more as a topper over other nail polish that you have. And that's why I also got this. This is very reminiscent of Cheeky Taro but nail polish version. This shade is very buildable yet doesn't feel heavy. The application experience of this is very easy even for someone who is not an expert in putting nail polish. It has a good balance of water and thick formulation, but leans a little more to the watery side, which I think makes it more easier to apply because it just melts onto your nails. This is how it looks together. It looks really cute. I wonder how people would react when I go to the office with this. Working girl but Kuromi coded. I can actually see myself rocking this at parties. Now for the glosses. Since I got the Whatever Girls collection, I have these glosses included along with the Tone Up cushion. We have Black Crush for Kuromi and Pink Crush for Melody. They come in a tiny bottle, perfect to carry around in your purse. Black Crush might look intimidating, but it's not as bluish as it looks in the bottle. It has a blue and silver glitter, and I see some shifts of pink as well. When you layer it on, it's very glossy, not super thick, and I don't find it sticky at all. It has a hint of mintiness as well. Pink Crush looks super cute. It has a hint of pink tint with chunks of gold and silver glitter with shifts of pink. The glitter chunks might be too noticeable for some. Also, put some caution when using this since you don't really want to swallow so much glitter. And that's it for the Kuromi collection. I really enjoyed trying this collection out. Thank you so much, Rom&nd, for sending me these. Wonderful collection as always. So I guess that's it for now. Until next time. Goodbye, stranger.
Great. Just repeat the words I'm about to say, all right? Moon, prism, power, makeup. Right. Moon, prism,